Disappointed with this outcome. It's a frustrated locker room. It's a They're feeling down right now, and so you look at this game, and man, the effort and the care factor, the fight. I'm very much proud of that. There's never a point in the game where, hey, it's here we go again, or this game's getting away, or we're going to hang our head, or we're going to kind of droop our face down and look into nothingness. There's never that. There was always just fight, and there was always belief, and right up to the very end. And so I'm proud of that. We have to, you get into moments like this, you got to fight to keep that. And I'm going to ask on some of the leaders on this team to fight with me to keep that. I'm disappointed in just the execution, whether it's the turnovers on offense or the penalties on defense, the busted play on a big third down. It's just inopportune times, kind of shooting yourself in the foot, and you just can't do that versus a really good team. And, to have them at home, to have the crowd in it, and to have all of that and then not come away with it is very, 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 very frustrating. And that's something that has to get fixed. So I take all responsibility for that. I think I believe the team knows that there's a lot of talent. They know that there's people that really care and are way invested. And they know that, hey, we put this thing together. It's way past putting it together, but we put this thing together, really good things can happen. And so we're going to be all about that. Take any questions you guys got.
Dave, what did you see on the penalty on DJ on Arizona State's last drive? That seems like a pretty tough situation for a defensive guy.
I didn't really see it. I think it was kind of a bang-bang play to me, and that's something I do want to look at. DJ was one of our captains today. He's been really playing well and has been a kind of a stalwart for us, kind of an emerging guy. So I talked to him after the game, keep your head up. And so he's going to get better because of all of this.
Coach Sawyer just talked about how this loss probably stings the most for him personally because the defense played so well and the offense just couldn't get it going. For you personally, the defense had a really good performance. How frustrating was it that the offense just couldn't reciprocate that?
The thing that we've probably been talking about the most of more than any of the things is complementary football, and that's where one side backs up the other side, where if one side's not playing good, offense, defense, special teams, the other side kind of picks it up, and carries maybe the extra load or the burden till the other side kind of gets up off the ground and starts swinging on its own. And then also, if one side's really playing well, then the other side kind of takes that momentum and doubles down and kind of becomes this overwhelming thing. And, we have yet to do that into however many games we've been playing. And it's one of the things where we talk about it a ton. I have to look at myself, find a better way to get that done, because that's really what's missing right now is a team that plays collectively together.
Dave, kind of a similar situation as last year. You start Big 12 play with a tough loss. Does that, I guess, can you take away a positive that you already know this feeling, this team knows this feeling, and how do you no? Then where do you go from here? How do you bounce back, and what was your message to the team after this?
Yeah, I think anytime you lose, it sucks, and it just guts you, and it's losing's never really good. But I do believe that our team, our players, know that we're a good team and know that we got talent and know that we got coaches that believe in them and know that there's a bunch of guys that really care a lot, not only about the team but about them personally. And so I think anytime you have that, you have the pieces. It's just about putting it together, And I think have been in spots before where maybe you don't, the talent's not there, or there's this piece missing. And, you know, to kind of get the hope is a bit of a trick, you know. But I think when you have those pieces and everyone sees it, it's a matter of just kind of getting your head down and focusing on what's right in front of you and put it together. So I very much feel that.
Dave, what did happen on that busted play you were talking about? Jackie makes a big play, crowds into it, 3rd and 13. Was it poor communication? What exactly happened there?
It's cover 2, and there had been a lot of screens, and they put the tight end in to max protect, and they ran, we call it 989, so it's verticals on the outside and a 3-man route, and the middle guy runs right down the middle. And we're in cover 2, and we have a guy that's right in the middle that's responsible for that route and didn't play it. And so it's just hard. You know, I have to coach him better in that spot. It's very unfortunate and very frustrating.
Dave, you talked about complementary football. The fact that the defense, the 3 times that y'all turned it over, the offense turned it over, they held them to field goals. I think maybe all of them were in the red zone. Can you build off of that? Can you take some pride in doing that?
Right now, it just sucks to lose. You know, I think when we get to the film, we're going to see some positive stuff. There's probably more positive stuff than there's maybe been on that side of the ball. But yeah, we need to win. You know, I think when we have, you know, this is one thing also. Losing sucks no matter how you cut it, but to lose at home that's even worse, you know. And so I just feel that right now. I think we'll look at the film, find some positive stuff to go on, but right now you're just upset.
Coach, I mean, you mentioned that it's disappointing in there and everything. Can you see a way forward? Where do you go from here? Can you see some optimism moving forward?
So the team knows that there's dudes that, whether it's coaches or players, that believe in them, and that they care about them, regardless of whatever the outcome is of a game, win or loss. I think it starts there. I think you have to have that. Otherwise, you know, you're kind of, otherwise it becomes very transactional, you know. So I think it starts there, and I know we have that, and that's probably our greatest strength. But then I think we got a bunch of guys that love football and really care and want to win. And then I think we're also a very talented team. And so everyone feels that and knows that. And, you know, this is getting us more, excuse my language, but pissed off and frustrated. And so now it's just about using that energy in a positive way, where I think everyone knows that we're really close. We got to put this together. So that's the next step.
Coach Ashton wasn't really involved in this game, and in fact, I don't believe he was out there for some of the opening series. I was just wondering what was going on with him, and how could you go forward and get him involved more?
Yeah, I think moving forward, I think he will be. I think, you know, this was probably a tough week for him. And so I think moving on to next week, I think he'll be more involved, and you'll probably see him earlier in the game.
Coach, early in the week, Jackie Marshall said that the defense is playing better, but he wanted to see one more big step. What did you think of the defense performance today overall?
We have to close that game out. I think, you know, when you get in spots like that, it needs to be, you know, uh-oh, here goes the defense out. And it doesn't need to be that. It needs to be, oh, here we go. Watch them. They're going to go ahead and win this game right here. And so we're not there, you know. And so we need to be able to do that. We have the guys that can do that. We have the coaches that can coach that. And so, you know, there's self-inflicted mistakes that kept us from doing that. So the focus is on that right there.
Just real quick, what's status on Travion? And do you know, I mean, obviously it didn't look great, but...
Yeah, his ankle is really sad, so he's going to be out. and it's going to end up having surgery. And so it's just a way sad deal. That boy right there was becoming a leader for us. And, he's been a blessing to us. Baylor's been a blessing to him. And you could just tell this was kind of his first, starting deal. And he's just a natural leader, just taking the reins. You could see him and all the pain and all of it when they're carting him off. That's him. And so that's, we talked about, bro, there's a leader when you're playing, there's a leader when you're not playing. We got to help him with that.
And then,
But I'm proud of him, though. Very, very proud of him.
sorry. You talked all week about the trenches too, and just wanting to get a greater push. That was the biggest emphasis. Did you see an improvement in that? And what maybe can you take away from that
There
performance?
was, yeah. You'd like to see more, You'd like to always get more. But I think there was. I thought defensively up front was the best that we've played. Has a really good offensive line and a good running back. And then offensively, I thought we were able to see guys push the pile. Bryson was able to, we were pushing the pile and moving, falling forward. And so those are all things that we can build off of. Obviously, you'd love to see more of that.
Keaton, that last drive, how difficult was that, knowing that, you had to, kind of hold them to, not get that close for a field goal range?
I wouldn't say it's any difficult than any other drive we had tonight. It was one of those things where it was a self-inflicted wound. We hurt ourselves on the defensive side, and, it set them up for giving them another opportunity to get more yards, and that's on us, and we have to execute better.
Jackie, how frustrating are some of those penalties, especially when the defense is playing so well and, when you get a penalty and shoot yourself in the foot? How frustrating is that?
It's really frustrating, especially when it's a crunch time game like that, and it's a big moment. We can't have those type of penalties, and obviously you can see they hurt us. We just can't have that.
You guys limited Jordan Tyson pretty well in the secondary. It was great in one-on-one coverage. Keaton, how can you talk about their game and a little bit about what that meant to you guys?
Played great in our secondary, and I'm proud of those guys. They've taken a huge leap this year, and we need to do better up front. We need to make sure that we're taking care of business and holding the standard as they are, and so we just need to meet those guys in the middle and work on it.
Jackie, when you got that sack, you reached out, and it was like 3rd and 13 after that. Y'all had to feel the crowd was way into it at that point. It was that next play that was the big gut punch. How big a, play was that in the game, you feel like?
Like we said earlier, it's big-time moments. We got to step up and make those type of plays. I think the biggest thing is we understand that it's hard to win in this league, and it's gonna take everything we have to win.
Keaton, when Travion went down in the first half, what was the mood like, and what did he say to kind of psych y'all up?
Yeah, that was pain. Us, losing your brother on the field is one of the worst feelings ever, but we know that we have to do it for him. He just told us to, kept us encouraged, kept his head up. He was in good spirits, and so we kept pushing for him.
And then also for Keaton, where do you kind of go from here? I think defense played pretty well overall, but, this is game 1 of Big 12 play. Where do you go from here?
Well, we could say defense played well, but it's one team. We can't blame it on one side of the ball or the other, because the offense could have said that about us a couple of times this year. And so, we just have to keep working to get better as a team. To me, the only way to go up is up. Is to keep winning and keep working and, take advantage of the next opportunity and keep grinding and keep looking into ourselves at what can we fix to get better each week.
Jackie, just knowing how last year's Big 12 slate started out, was that talked about in the locker room at all after this loss? How do you guys kind of rally around that cause to maybe not slide like you did last year?
Yeah, of course, after the game, we talked this how it was starting out last year. We had to fight. It's going to be the same way. We'll have to fight again this year.
Anything else for these guys? Jack, you guys limited them to 3 red zone field goals. How can you build on that effort in the red zone to prevent those touchdowns?
Man, just keeping the same intensity, elevating each week, getting better, and practicing what we preach, keep upholding the standard up front.
Jackie, how did are you proud of some of the defensive linemen to step up in Cooper's absence tonight? How pleased are you with some of their performances?
I am proud of Tez and DK, man. I think they stepped up big time, but, we didn't come out with the win, but I am really proud of those guys.
Sawyer, it took a while for the offense to get going. What maybe do you attribute to that slow start? And then what kind of allowed you guys to break through that later on and give that needed push that you guys needed?
Yeah, definitely slower than what we need to be and where we need to be, but it happens sometimes. And credit to those guys. They're a good team, good defense, a lot of returners on that defense. But we know once we get in a rhythm, get the first down, then we start flowing, and that's when we really move the ball, get into a rhythm, score some points. But it just took too long, honestly, for us to do that tonight. For whatever reason, if it was turnovers, bad read by me, bad throw, just like all that stuff. So take responsibility for it, but we just got to start faster next game.
Sawyer, 4 games in, this team is 2-2. Can you just talk about where you feel this team is at right now, and do you feel that record reflects the team itself?
Yeah, I think we've shown for sure that we're a bunch of fighters. There are a bunch of games that could have gone either way, and we're staying in it, throwing our punches up until the very end. Now, unfortunately, there's some games where we could run away with it, and we're not doing that right now. And so taking that next step is what we have to do. But we're fighters, and if I know anything, it usually turns out well for guys that play hard and fight until the very end. And so kind of hoping to turn that corner as we go on throughout the season. But, it happens. You're going to face adversity all the time. And so just how you handle that is what's going to make or break your season.
Sawyer, are you at all tentative to run? It seems like there have been some open lanes and maybe not as running as much as you were last year. Is that a game plan thing? Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple that I wish I had ran. There was one early on. It's one of the harder things to do as a quarterback, though, just because, trying to keep your eyes downfield and find an open receiver, during scramble drill, and knowing just when to, keep doing that versus tuck it and run it and get what you can. And so there were definitely a couple I wish I had back and do that. But, I felt like there were also some where I did keep my eyes downfield instead of tucking and run it, and I found some open guys and was able to get the ball to them. And so it's just you just kind of pick or choose. Obviously, hindsight's always 20/20. Wish I had a couple of them back, but yeah.
Sorry, what did you see on the interception? Were you expecting something else to happen, or what? Walk us through that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so he was shutting it down, and so I was trying to throw it back down his stem outside, not let the DB undercut it, and the DB actually ended up catching it on his outside. Unusual way that doesn't normally happen. I don't know if that's ever happened, but the kid made a good play, but I probably should have just gotten on to a different read after that. But I thought I was throwing it outside because I didn't want him to undercut it on the inside to pick it off. So.
Kole, an uncharacteristic game for Josh. What if any, words did you have for him after the game, and what do you think his response is going to be after this game?
I know Josh is a dog, so obviously this is not the game that he wanted to have, but I know the type of person that he is, and he's going to bounce right back. I was basically just telling him to keep his head up because, it's a long game, and although he had those fumbles or whatever, he still made a lot of plays for us and is a big contributor to the team this year and last year. So really just keeping your head up and having the next play mentality.
Sawyer, how big was the defense kind of keeping y'all in it in the second half and giving y'all time to kind of rally?
They were huge. I mean, I thought they played excellent. That's why this one probably stings so much for me personally, and I think everybody on our side of the ball. Is just they played so well. They were fighting. They were battling. Honestly, kept us in the game while we were just sputtering for whatever reason, whether we weren't moving the sticks or it was a turnover, just whatever. The defense was fighting, and they fought all game. And it was just too late for us as an offense to get going. But it was inspiring what they did, and so I'm proud of them. But I also feel bad because we couldn't get the job done. So.
Kole, how does it feel to get that first touchdown in the books? And then also follow up to that, it felt like they were not giving y'all much down the field. What were they doing specifically to keep y'all closer to the line of scrimmage?
I mean, it felt amazing, but I'd rather have 0 touchdowns than a win, you know. But I feel like they're just a defense that they're like a bend don't break defense. So they want to keep everything in front of us, in front of them, and make us make mistakes. And we just have to capitalize on what they give us. You know, we have a lot of playmakers, and we have a great quarterback. So they know if they play us man, then it's pretty much over for them. So they try to make sure they don't do that, play off, and make us make mistakes or whatnot.
Sawyer, Coach Aranda and Spav have both talked about Michael Trigg and what a mismatch he can be. How much of a safety blanket is he for you? And just is he kind of one you've looked to first in games like this?
Yeah, I mean, he's great. That really kind of like piggybacking off of what Kole just said. Like, there's so many weapons. There's really not like a go-to first, but big frame, runs well, catches the ball really well, and so whenever he's open, I just got to get it close to him, and he makes a play. And so, yeah, no, he's I'm lucky to have him and throw to him as well as all the other guys.
Sawyer, he obviously hit the big one, Bryson. How good was that to have that running game to kind of maybe loosen them up a little bit?
Yeah, Bryson's incredible. I mean, I can't like just how tough he is, physical, just running through tackles. I mean, he's just incredible. I have no words for his performance and what he does on a week in and week out basis. But yeah, and it makes my life easier when he's doing stuff like that. You know, and I probably left him out to dry a couple times when I should have checked it or thrown it. But he just does such a good job that you give the ball to him and let him do his thing. And so I'm so proud of him. He's such a good teammate, and yeah.
Sawyer, follow up to what Zach was asking about with you running and taking off. Last year, we know at the end you weren't 100%, or I don't think you were. Have you been told by anyone to not run, or is that just based on your instinct and decisions?
Just instincts, yeah.